Well, that geriatric skull, Joy Behar, whining that the real victim of the Clinton impeachment scandal is not Monica Lewinsky, but the human pantsuit Hillary Clinton. Seriously.
I would submit here that the real victim was the United States of America and Hillary Clinton. Because if you remember when the debate was going on between Trump and Hillary, Trump brought in all these so-called victims of Clinton's peccadillos. When he brought those women into that debate, that hurt Hillary Clinton. And that is the real victim.
But Joy, what happened to believing all women? Even Hillary herself tweeted in 2015, every survivor of sexual assault deserves to be heard, believed, and supported. So are Americans really the victim for having to stomach Joy Behar's nonsense? Yeah, we are. Joining me now to break it down, Gutfeld co-host and Fox Nation host, Kat Timpf. Woo! Woo! So she is so far off base, and this is so offensive, because when she uses air quotes and says so-called victims, how dare she?
Yeah, this is the epitome of a trash boomer opinion. I mean, taking it to Monica Lewinsky specifically, I don't want to, use a single word to encapsulate what her experience was, because that's for her to talk about and not for me to talk about. But in all the conversations we've had in recent years about things like power disparities, there really could be no greater power disparity than a 22-year-old intern and the most powerful man on the planet. Or bullying, when she for 10 years couldn't get a job. She couldn't, just constantly bullied, the most hated person. Monica Lewinsky scandal is what it was called, as if Bill Clinton wasn't even there. I think that there was plenty of poor Hillary Clinton talk for a very long time. It's really strange that she doesn't have any new perspective, and I don't think she should be canceled over the jokes that she made, but she doesn't have any new perspective to add, and that's not even counting, as you brought up, all the women who accused Bill Clinton of sexual assault.
Of rape.
And rape.
So is Juanita Broaddrick to be believed and heard and supported? And if not, why not? That never made any sense to me. And politics in your political party should really have nothing to do with this. And it is incredibly demeaning, and it's doing the opposite of what the Me Too movement is supposed to do, which is to make a safe environment for victims of sexual assault to come forward and share their story.
Yeah, it's hearing Joy Behar talk like this, I'm like, is this the 90s again? It's almost like none of these conversations ever happened. And Monica Lewinsky, a lot of people like her, myself included. I would give anything to meet her. Is because the only reason where people might not think she seems like, she was a victim of anything is because she's kind of refused to allow herself to be reduced to that, which must have taken a lot of strength. She replied to a tweet saying, "What's the worst career advice you ever got?" a few years ago, and she said, "An internship at the White House will look great on your resume." Like, to go through all that and then have a sense of humor about it, that is awesome and amazing. But to have this opinion on this issue after all this time is almost remarkable to me. But it's obviously offensive and dumb.
Yeah, and it's time to reverse course on this, and it's time for people to evolve. And Joy Behar is so far off base. Yeah. And I don't know what her glitch is. I don't know. Her attention seeking is so incredibly outdated. She should be like Madonna and show her ass in public like every self-respecting geriatric former icon.
I love Madonna.
I do too.
She shows her ass and people get so mad, and there's a lot of power there.
Yes. A lot of power in that ass.
Yes, there really is.
We have to go, but I'm so excited you're here.
I'm always excited to be here.
It's the best. I told you, Kat's back.